Welcome back to the Wow Within. I'm Jen Potter, your host, and today I'm joined with Travis McGinnis. He is a commander in chief of the natural law of the Trans Mountain Corporation. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Well, first of all, Jen, I just want to give thanks to God Creator for today and the opportunity to speak to all the lives that you touch in your guys' journey and in the media corridor and bringing forth, hopefully, and what I would like to say is more education on who we are as Red Nation Indigenous, they say today. But in our language, we know ourselves. And I'll speak in the English and a foreign tongue, as the real people, the beautiful people of Mother Earth. So, it's a pleasure to be here. And I just want to thank Creator for that and everybody on your side that's making this possible.
Thank you very much. So, if you could tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do, I think that would be amazing.
Well, Jen, I've been working as in the last over 20 years now as a leader, and we have what we call the different leaderships society. I guess what society looks at in leadership, and the democratic society that was brought to us by the settlers and the colonizers is Indian Act policy in Canada. And that democratic way of voting is what we call Indian Act leadership. And that was brought to my nation in the mid 50s. And but we also have hereditary leadership from time immemorial, and since as far as we could know, hereditary leadership is with the bloodline. It's within ceremony. You're granted these rights to be a hereditary leader. So I carry both. I've been elected, as a leader in Tsuut'ina Nation, where I was born and raised, but also granted, these ceremonies, this headdress that you see, these gifts that we get from Creator, that we're born. Everything in our way always has a birth, and these feather hats, were given to our people. These flowback, they call these the flowback. That's a Sioux style, but then in our traditional territory here, we have the straight up. They're straight up all the way around. The feathers are straight up, and it's done through ceremony and hereditary rites. And when I was given these rights, the old ones that gave it to me, the rights, they asked me to be a keeper of it and to be one that hands feather hats out. So, I have that right to, give feather hats. And in our way, you have to be given the rights. If you're practicing these ways without being given, the privilege, and the honor, then in our way, it's like you're bringing on something to happen that is it's like a mistake. You shouldn't be doing that. You're bringing dishonor to yourself some way in the future. But I hold these rights, and when I hold these rights, I also, try my best. I've been on Tsuut'ina Nation Police Commission as well for years. The First Nations of Canada, they have a First Nation National Police Commission, and I've worked for a number of different nations as a chief and council advisor, but also, I've helped engage on major projects in Alberta and Western Canada, on energy projects. So, we try not to make too much noise. We like to stay low. One of our analogies that we do have, and was told to us by the old ones, is, when you're working on great things and big things, it's always a proud moment to be working on them. But the best thing to do is when you're working on big projects, and what we like to say, there's two things. We as First Nations here in our traditional territory that we've been here for since time immemorial, since the beginning of time, we've been the land keepers and the traditional and hereditary landowners of these sovereign lands, which are ours. We been told, since we've come in contact with the colonizers who made treaty with us, who agreed through treaty, international, treaties, we've known that it's important to work together. So, what we do now is we utilize, their legislation, and we like to say, Natural Law Energy as well as Natural Law Trans Mountain Corporation, which are two separate entities. We have a mandate. We can no longer hunt off the land like we did long ago. So, I'm trying to remember word for word the mission statement that we do and that we practice. We have a mission, and our mission is to hunt for major projects.
Mm-hmm.
The hunt for major projects is you need to have a license, and we get that license through a traditional hereditary title and sovereignty to the land. Our license to bring major projects to our nations, and to our Red Nations in our territory. And one of the reasons, going on to another mission statement, that we stay low is, in our faith and our belief, which is similar to religion as well as spiritual engagement. Our people believe that, other people can have that, sign of envy, and that they bring those signs of jealousy. So we tend not to put ourselves out there. We tend to keep ourselves at a safe limit and have boundaries. And these are messages from our elders, our old ones, that told us. They said, when you hunt a buffalo, and in your case, they said, you guys are hunting major projects. When you hunt a major project, you're hunting a mile long herd of buffalo and a mile wide herd of buffalo. And you need a great war party and great horses to do this hunt. Long ago, our people trained our horses and were so skilled that our horses can lie down with us. They would lie down and the tall weeds, the tallest weeds, is where we'll stay beneath the weeds. And we would stay downwind, away from the buffalo catching our scent. And there will be a time when everybody must stand up and start spreading out accurately to coordinate strategically a way to push these buffalo in one direction. That time will come to stand up and stand your horses up and stand up and ride and coordinate strategically these buffaloes to go towards a buffalo jump, so we can hunt and have a massive hunt that'll keep us fed for years and bring new generations into our Red Nations. So that's the exact example that we lead by as well. And today may not that it's coming near that time when we must stand up. We must stand our horses up from laying down beneath the weeds. Stand them up and push them strategically to that buffalo jump. And we have many leaders across this land from Treaty 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as well as our brothers and sisters to the west, that are on side. So these are some of the mission statements and some of the strategic advice that was given to us by the old ones in modern day hunts. We hunt as a war party. War party doesn't always mean you're going to war. War party can mean different things, like you're going to look for game, you're looking for a trail, you're taking a war party with you. And in modern days words, they would say a committee. You're taking a committee of people. But nowadays, you have a war party. You weren't ever to forget that we were warrior people. We're warrior nations. And our red nations were raised within warrior societies. If it was it to us, so we never forgot about the females. In fact, the females are most important and are the most important in our red nations because they give life. So, there's more teachings that can go on from there, but this is why when we hunt major projects, we like to go to the old ones, and the old ones will tell us. So we get guidance from the old ones first. Don't just go and do it and get it done. So thank you, Jim.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. I had this beautiful visual the whole time you were talking of that entire story and going through it all, and it's also very interesting. So thank you for sharing that. When we come back, we're going to talk about empowering Indigenous communities, and I think everything that you just talked about will lead us right into that. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.